This is the APS version 3 gearbox out of the APS AK74. I'm just going to go over a couple things that I like and don't like with this gearbox. I'll start with the bushings. It uses a polymer bushing, and I find that these are kind of loose. Internally they're 3.1 millimeters, whereas the metal bushings that I'll be putting in are 2.97 millimeters. So there's over a tenth of a millimeter larger. See, whereas the shaft of the gears are 2.91 millimeters. So that'll be a much nicer fit with those. But I don't like the plastic bushings that come with this. They're not perfectly round in the center of them, and they created a little bit of drag on the shafts. Moving on to the piston and the cylinder. The cylinder is a stainless steel, very sturdy. It's included a pad on the cylinder head. I'm testing the compression of it. It has very good compression. Comes with a nice fat O-ring on there. Very good compression. So I like that about it. Internally the cylinder is very smooth. I'll probably give it a polish anyways. You see there's 6 ports on there. It's a pretty nice piston. The spring, I like the spring. It's an irregular spring with the close coils in the center. It helps compress it at the beginning easier. The nozzle's pretty nice as well. It's stainless nozzle. There's an O-ring in there. Spring guide is not that great. It just has a washer here. I wish it had a bearing on it, but it'll do. Plastic shaft too. I'll be just disabling the blowback on this one. The grease in the gearbox is pretty good grease, it seems like. It's got a nice consistency. It's about like the super lube that I use, but I'll be re-greasing it anyways since I'm in here. They didn't over grease it. They got a nice amount of grease in there. It's good grease. I wouldn't worry about that. There were no shims on the gears whatsoever. So that's probably why a lot of people have problems with these guns. Trigger contacts look pretty good. The tappet plate. Got a little flex to it. It's good. The wiring, it could be better, but it's not bad. I'll be using a 7.4 LiPo with it. I started shimming the gearbox and found that the the middle gear here, the shaft was sticking out further on this side than it was on this side, and there was also a space between this spacer and the gear. So I took the hammer, I placed it on a block of wood, and it was like this, and I tapped on the shaft here to press it into the gear a little bit more, and then I put a bearing on there and tapped it, and tapped the spacer up against the gear here. So now it's properly, almost properly spaced in the middle here. It'll do. But the problem that was creating, it was giving me minimal engagement between these two gears, and also, you can't see them, but these teeth here and the ones underneath here. And this was just barely touching here, so I could see how that would strip out after, you know, a few thousand rounds. You probably would have stripped out if I didn't do anything about that. And I had to press this in. There was no fixing it with shimming. I had to center the shaft on the gear and the spacer here. I had to center the shaft. So I should be able to shim it properly now, and get it all back together and